Hey guys, this is just going to be a short video of my initial thoughts and reaction to the Devil May Cry show from Netflix. If I'm being perfectly honest, I'm not quite sure how I feel about it. I have a lot of mixed feelings. First of all, this show is really well made. It moves very quickly, it doesn't drag, it has some very good action scenes. I actually thought the animation was really good despite some occasional CGI. I really want to say that I enjoyed it. And I think I did enjoy it up until the last parts of the series. I did not have the words to explain how the show made me feel. I just knew I didn't like it. It was bothering me so much. And then I went on Reddit and some people were saying exactly how I felt and explaining it. So now I have a little more clarity. I don't mean that those people gave me a reason to not like it, but that I already didn't like it, but I did not quite have the words to articulate why at first. This is so frustrating for me because this show is almost good. It's almost really good, but there are some glaring problems here that leave a really bad taste in my mouth. For example, this White Rabbit here, he was a fantastic character. He was so well acted by Hoon Lee. Everything he does and says is so full of distinct personality. But it almost feels like this villain is the main character of the story. I don't know what the intentions were behind this, but it feels very much like we're supposed to sympathize with this character more than with Dante or Lady or anyone else. I'm pretty sure this guy gets more screen time and more attention than either of them. You would think that Dante's the main character, or he's supposed to be. And usually I love stories that have more than one POV. So maybe they were trying to go for POV from Dante, Lady, and the White Rabbit. Maybe the problem isn't so much that it feels like Dante and Lady aren't the main characters, but rather it feels like there is no main character other than the narrative. It's not necessarily bad to have a story that's more plot-driven than character-driven, even though I always prefer the latter. But sadly, this story feels like it sacrifices its characters in favor of its message. I'm pretty sure that this is never a good thing. I really don't want to get into the story too deeply here because it feels like I got invested for nothing. Because the story this show cares about isn't the one that I went in for. To put it simply, while our main characters are hunting demons, the White Rabbit is fighting for the oppressed demons of hell. Not all of them are big scary monsters, some of them are just normal families. This is a huge problem because if Dante is supposed to be a good guy because he fights for humans, the story focusing so much on the oppressed demons of hell and how much they've suffered because Sparda, Dante's father, put a barrier between Earth and Hell, it really makes it look like what Sparda did was a bad thing, and by extension, what Dante is doing right now isn't such a good thing. So whose side are we supposed to be on? Who are we supposed to root for here? This show itself doesn't seem to be too sure. The only thing it seems sure about is that it does not want you to root for Darkcom, the demon hunting task force in this show. It also really wants you to think that America is evil, and the president, and maybe even Catholics and Christians, because we have one of my least favorite tropes here, the evil Catholic or Christian guy. Ugh. And I love Kevin Conroy's acting so much. He's my favorite Batman ever. Rest in peace. If only his character wasn't being used to jam a guilt trip down the audience's throat. I don't know much about the Devil May Cry games, only what little clips I've seen and heard, but I did watch the early anime. But I'm pretty sure DMC is supposed to be fun. I'm all for an emotionally complex narrative, but this one is so negatively geared that it's just depressing. I'm definitely not the best person to say this, again, I didn't play the games. But while the show pays homage to the source material, I really don't think it understands it. Netflix Devil May Cry certainly surpasses the old anime in the action scene category, but even while slower, that one was so much more beautiful and nuanced in its storytelling. The show had some parts that were interesting. For example, I really liked how they were saying that the supernatural and the scientific are one and the same, and we just haven't come to understand the supernatural yet. That's something that could have been super interesting if they did more than just mention it. But it feels like this show is so focused on being smart with its narrative that it leaves really cool characters like Dante in the dust. I'm not really saying you shouldn't watch it. By all means, do so. You might be really entertained. But I doubt you'll get super attached to any characters. This show is not good at making you feel good things about them. As for me, this was pretty disappointing. I think maybe I should just watch DMC game cutscenes.